Okay, hi everyone. We are here with Sara. She has just recently graduated from our program. She has worked actually with Dr. Duquette, going through the program for the last 6 months. And I think you just graduated, right? Just the last, okay, maybe like it's literally been like a week.
Yeah.
She just finished. So we thank you very much for coming on and telling us your story. Because I love these testimonials because they're so, they give people hope. And you said you've listened to other testimonials, because people with these chronic conditions don't know there is, hope out there, is there's something that they can actually do, besides the conventional model, right? So I just wanted to, before we dive in and let Sara tell her story, I just want to mention these, her first 2 months with us, because it's pretty significant. So you came to us, and stop me if there's anything you want to add or if I have anything wrong, but you came to us with, you had Graves' disease, hormone issues, weight gain, dry mouth, toe fungus, blood pressure problems, always hungry, couldn't work under pressure. That's a big one for people. Insomnia, fatigue, emotional issues, that's a lot. And then did I miss anything, or does that sound about right?
Also dealt with anxiety.
Okay, yeah, anxiety. And people that are having things like insomnia, can't work under pressure, anxiety, a lot of those people are having even smaller details that you don't even think of as a symptom, like, noises bother you, or lights bother you, or, things like that. So I don't know if that was something for you, but I'm just throwing that in there. But so anyway, she came to us with this. She started in March, started the program, and she did work with Dr. Duquette. So that means that she had tests, right? You had tests, but it takes weeks for those tests to come back. So she started, and 1 month in, before even her test results were in, she had already lost 9 pounds. The note said you were feeling a million times better. Your moods were better, no more anxiety, more optimistic for your future, and excited for the future. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's amazing. And I did wanted to, I okayed this with Sara ahead of time that I could say these things. But I like to share this because people are in that, everybody feels like they need tests in order to then get, the results that they need. But you really, as long as you do the right steps, as long as you do the program, you don't even need the test. They might get you to where you need to go faster, because they're specific to you. But literally, if you do the right things, as I just said, 1 month in, no test results, and she already was feeling so much better. Okay, and then one more month in, less than a month, actually, about let's see, it was 3 weeks. You said that all of your symptoms were almost completely gone. And then you said that you were off your beta blockers, your blood pressure was ideal, and you were cutting down on thyroid meds already. So that was 2 months in. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
And I also had written down that you went to your endocrinologist, and he said that you had stellar test results and you were almost off all of your meds at that point. So I just wanted to add those details, but now we want to hear Sara's story. So I always like to start with your journey, because it's always a big journey, leading up to when you started with the program. So just go ahead and just whatever flows for you, just tell us your story.
All right. Well, I was always a small person, petite. I'm only 5'2", and I used to be just a really thin person for a long time. And then, of course, I've had 4 children that I'm 55 years old, and also postmenopausal. And my kids are grown, and I put on some weight with each one. And that weight loss was, my weight gain was always a struggle for me. I tried different, different plans, different diets, fads, kind of things like that. Never was able to quite get back to my own self. And a few years down the road, we started going to a chiropractor. And so as my husband and I started going to the chiropractor, he had a lot of wellness tips and things going on all the time. He was playing videos by all kinds of practitioners that were talking just different things on health and diet and things like that. So I was introduced to a better way of living and eating and things like that. And I always tried so hard to get my good fats in and my proteins and things like that, but I never just could quite get it together. And I would lose a few pounds here and there, but never quite to where I really felt like I wanted to be. Tried exercise and different things like that. I just tried, but just always fell off the bandwagon.
Okay.
And then over time, I didn't realize that I was developing an autoimmune condition. Dr. Duquette said it was something that, was just going on over time, and didn't know that. Just with, eating, regular foods like, conventionally, like everybody eats and things like that. I was developing some health issues. And let's see, this is really something, but just back in February, and then actually what happened a couple of years ago, I contacted COVID really bad. I was in the hospital for a week, and I was able to get out, thankfully. And I knew that I needed to do something about my health, and I was really concerned about why I had gotten so sick. But ever since then, I had just a terrible lack of energy, and of course the eating and things like that. I just knew I needed to do something about my health. Well, and then also I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I have to climb a flight of stairs every day. And as I would climb those stairs after COVID, I was admitted to the hospital because I had developed pneumonia from that. So I was climbing the flight of stairs, and I just had trouble getting up the stairs. Just didn't quite have the energy as I was dismissing my students to get up the stairs. And this happened in February. I missed a step on the top, and I actually fell all the way downstairs, like rolled like down the steps.
Oh my God.
Of course, it was very scary. Yes, but my my heart was racing, my blood pressure was high, but I hadn't broken anything, but I was very, very sore, of course, very sore from that. And my husband said, we need to get this checked out just to make sure you didn't puncture a rib or something like that. I'm gonna take you to the emergency room. Well, while I was in the emergency room, they checked me out and said, you don't have anything broken. This is just going to heal over time. But we're very concerned about your heart rate being very, very high and your blood pressure being very, very high. It was just scaring them. So they said, we'd really like to keep you overnight and run some tests and see what's going on. And so they did. They did some blood work, and the doctor came in and told me, you have an autoimmune condition called Graves' disease, and that's due to hyperthyroidism.
Right.
And your thyroid is inflamed, and we need to put you on some medication. Well, after going to the chiropractor and just knowing that was, that's not how I wanted to stay. That's not how I wanted to live my life on medication like this. But I knew that I had to have that for my heart rate and things like that. I wanted to take my health in my hands. It was a wake up call that I really needed to start looking for answers, for real answers, and find out. And then as I was doing my research, I found Dr. Duquette online. And actually how I had found them a while back, just go back about a year ago, my son, who was 17, had contacted a virus. And, we had been sick and we had gotten over it, but he was not getting over it very well. He had contacted very severe joint pain. It had settled in his joints. I mean, it was kind of scary because he could hardly walk. He was in so much pain, and he missed playing. It was his senior year in high school. Actually, yeah, last year. It was a senior in high school, and he was on the basketball team. He couldn't even play in his tournament. He was in so much pain. And they sent me, I took him to a medical doctor. I just had to get him some help. They sent me to a children's rheumatoid arthritis specialist. And just like over time, it had gone away. The pain had gone away. And I started looking up different things. Oh, they said that my husband actually ended up taking him to the ER one night too, because he had doubled over in pain, a lot of pain in his stomach. And they told me that he had colitis. And so I started looking up things that would deal with that. And once again, Dr. Duquette's name came online. I thought, wow, I did not realize there was a functional doctor in my area within an hour of driving distance. I will do whatever I have to do to get him some help. Well, the situation cleared up. And so I didn't deal with it at the time, but his name stuck in my head. And so when I came down with a Graves' disease, I said, okay, I'm going to fill out this questionnaire and see if I can get some help. And so I don't know what to become of it. I know this is going to cost, but I'm just going to do this because I need to take my health into my own hands and be proactive about my health. So I filled the questionnaire. And the next morning, actually it was over the weekend. And I mean, first thing Monday morning, Dr. Duquette contacted me, and he said, I can help you. I looked over this. I have helped people in your situations. I've looked over I sent him some lab tests, everything that I had. I sent him my health journey and everything. He said, I can help you. And I can't tell you what that meant, that he gave me hope. He gave me hope.
Right.
And
that's always the biggest first piece, because people, whatever chronic conditions people are experiencing, whether it's autoimmune or just these strange symptoms or whatever it is, just the fact that they're given hope. I mean, I was that way on my own journey. Just to find out that there was hope, there was a way to turn around, is so huge. Anyway, keep going.
Yes. So he gave me hope, and I wanted to do whatever I needed to do to get my health back. And of course, one of the things was, I told my husband, I don't know, how are we going to pay for this? And my husband said, don't worry about it. He said, you're worth it. You're worth it. And I thought, oh, that is so wonderful. I was just so thankful that we're going to do whatever it could take. And I didn't have to worry about that. We're just going to do it and get health and get my health back. So right away, we did the lab tests and found out my food sensitivities. And he said, and met with Dr. Duquette on the phone. And actually, we actually got to drive down and meet him because we're within driving distance. We got to meet him. He says, so we got to meet him on a snowy, cold Saturday morning there at, in Bloomington. And then he gave me the lab tests and talked about the program. He wanted my husband to come with me. He said, it really helps when your spouse is on board with you and can help support you. And
it's like night and day with the people, the way they progress. So you progressed very quickly through this. And probably a huge piece of that was because you did have a support system. You had your husband that was very supportive. And we've seen plenty of other people that they were, wanted to do this 100% themselves, but they don't have a support system, and they still get better, but they do go much slower. So yes, having that support system is huge.
Yes. Yes, that was great. And my grown kids were very happy for me and cheering me on throughout the whole journey. So I got my test back, found out that I had severe gut dysbiosis, which was leaky gut. He said that Dr. Duquette said he was not surprised. He said it's in 100% of the cases like mine that he has seen. So he's get you on this diet. And I had the information. I started watching the videos. One of my first things I did was I went shopping and got new food storage containers, silicone and glass. And my husband said, the first thing we're going to do also is we're going to go grocery shopping, and we're going to go get some organic vegetables, and we're going to, I ordered some beef bones from Seven Sons and started making some bone broth,
Okay.
bone broth fast. Whatever Dr. Duquette told me to do, I was doing it because
Yeah.
I was determined that I was going to get well.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how did you like the online piece of it? Like in addition to working with Doctor, did you like that?
As far as like watching the videos and things like that.
Yeah, just working
Yeah.
through the actual program online.
Yes. And I thought it was really great how it started with the Whole Foods and then it said stop and then, practice this. You have to practice this for like a week or so before you move on. And
Right.
so I really like that. And then of course all the teaching and all of the resources that are there for me. I still refer to them all of the time. And the step by step, the videos were nice and short and to the point on each topic. So it's not like you're overwhelmed. And a lot of the things that you said helped me. The the mindset going into it. And definitely like not to overthink things, but just jump in because at first I was really scared when I saw the food list. I didn't think that I could do it, but then
Right.
I just started and I really loved my food. I loved it.
Good.
It tasted so good. And yep, I mean, I fell in love with sweet potatoes and salads and broccoli and cauliflower. I mean, just all those things. And then the pasture raised meats and the grass fed meat and things that I was getting. I found out that it really, you have to buy groceries anyway. Might as well make them healthy ones that are doing something for you and
Right.
helping you and supporting you. And so that was a big change for me. I loved my ghee. I fell in love with grass fed ghee, which was something new, but it tasted so good. I was putting it on everything. The bone broth tasted really good. Just everything, the berries, just the whole part of it. And they were helping me. And I just decided that I was going to stick with it. One thing that was amazing to me, of course, is life is still going on through all this. And in May, I had two of my um, kids graduated. One of them graduated from college, the other one graduated from high school. And we had graduation parties and all the social events that go with all that. And I still stuck to my diet. I brought my food with me.
Yeah, it was a
Um,
huge piece. Yeah.
it was. And I was just determined that I was just going to get well. And I really did not miss all of those things as much as I thought that I would in my head. I really thought, oh, this is just going to be so hard. It's so sad, but really I was very happy that I was feeling good. And my husband asked Dr. Duquette, he says, so when is my wife going to start feeling better? And Dr. Duquette said, oh, she'll start feeling better in a couple of weeks. Well, I thought that a couple of weeks, that's not very far away. I can do this. And so as I started, I found out that sure enough, in a couple of weeks, I started getting some energy. I started getting my life back. And my one of my daughters told me, Mom, it's, please, whatever you're doing, please stay on this program. It is making such a difference in you. I'm so, she said, I'm so glad to have my mom back.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, and of course, then, I started seeing, some pounds drop off. But what really amazed me about this all was the inches that were coming off with it.
Hmm.
That really surprised me. And of course, that helped motivate me, of course. And it was more than just the weight loss. The weight loss was really huge to me because that's something that I could see, that I could measure
Right.
with clothing and the scale and things like that. But symptoms that I had for a long time started clearing up all on their own, kind of magically. It was like a domino effect. And Dr. Duquette said, oh, he said, of course, he said, those things are going to happen. He said, because your body is going to prioritize what it needs to do, and it's going to pick an area and it's going to start healing it. You
Hmm.
just have to interference. And so
Right.
it's just so thankful for all the progress that I've seen through all this. And of course, then the big thing for me was to go to the endocrinologist, because I had just had an appointment as I started the program, and she wanted to see me in 10 weeks. Well, I lost some weight, but I just didn't know what would happen with the blood work and things like that. So I'm like, if she just takes me down like just a little bit, if I see anything, if she just sees anything, then I'll know that this is where I really know that this is working. So I went in there, and she looked over my chart, and she looked over my vitals, and she says, you've lost some weight. She says, not just a little bit, you've made significant improvement. Your blood pressure is good. Your thyroid is doing much better. Your heart rate is stabilized, and you're looking fantastic. She says, I don't know what you're doing, she says, but keep it up. You're doing a great
Wow.
job. And then she was able to titrate me down my medication by half. And so then I knew this is really, really working. I mean, I knew it was, but I needed to see that to just know for sure. And so Dr. Duquette told me, he said, blood work can be a little tricky. It can take a long time for that to go up. He says, but in the thyroid, he said, takes a long time to heal. It just does. He said, probably a couple of years or so, but I'm okay with that because I know that I'm pointed the right direction.
Right. And the main thing really is how you feel.
Yes.
More than even tests or anything else, it's how you feel. And if you have energy and, all the physical symptoms you can see that are changing, and your symptoms that you're experiencing going away, that's the main thing. So yeah. Quite the journey. That's great.
Yes. And it's just, and yes, the energy thing is great because I finally had the energy to clean my house,
Right.
and do things, and because of that, I was able to just become a little bit more active and things as I started to heal, just naturally. But yeah, the energy is a huge factor. Dr. Duquette said, he said, I don't know how far back, we can take you, as far as your journey, or as far as your energy goes, and how you're feeling and stuff. But you'll definitely feel the best you felt in a long time. And boy, I tell you what, I think I could go back many, many, many years, maybe even before, I don't know, maybe I had, just two of my children or something like that. So when I felt so good. It's just been that long. You don't realize it, that you felt that
Right.
bad, your
Mhm.
health back. And so it's just amazing. Like, I've just been able to work and do a lot of things, stand on my feet, and just do a lot more things because of that energy. And I'm just so thankful for that.
That's amazing. I love these stories. They make me so happy. And and I can relate because I was where you were too. And I know it's amazing. And the thing is, you're only 6 months into this.
Yeah. Yes.
So think where you will be in 6 months from now or 2 years from now. As long as you stick with it, you're just going to get better and better and better. You'll feel better and better and better. It's I was actually going to do a post on biological aging as opposed to chronological aging. And so biological aging it's almost like aging in reverse. So it doesn't really matter how old you are. You can still every year from now forward, you can feel better and better and better. So that's what biological aging is. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how your journey continues. So, in the very beginning of the program, how we do the mind mapping, that's a piece of our mindset challenge. I encourage you to do that again. And, for the next 6 months or the next year, so you can have new goals, because you probably already surpassed your goals that you had back then, So where do you see moving forward?
Well,
cool.
I definitely want to continue losing the weight. I still have a little ways to go. I'm probably about I lost in the 6 months, I've lost 35 pounds.
Okay.
And
That's awesome.
so, yes, I'm so thankful for that. And it's been exciting. It's been really, really exciting to see the progress. A lot of people have commented to me, especially people that haven't seen me for a while. That was really encouraging to me. That people that came up to me and said, "Wow, Claire, I haven't seen you. You know, you are looking really good." And so I always tell them, how it all came about, and what I'm doing with the program and things like that. Um, so I'm definitely considering, and of course I'm going to keep that up and keep working with that, keep working with the diet, and just seeing things improve. I love what Dr. Duquette told me at the beginning too. He said, "I'm not going to take you off your medication, but you're going to earn the right to, to at least lower them, and see how far we can go with getting your health back." And so that was very empowering to me to hear that as well, that I was going to earn the right to get my health back
Yeah.
as we go along.
Just keep going. And yeah, and when you feel it's time, because the goal is ultimately you're maintaining your own health. You don't even
Yeah.
really need supplements. You don't need any of that, because your body can maintain this health on its own, as long as you're taking away the interference, like you said in the beginning. And remember all the environmental factors too. Those are all in our emails that come out, but the EMFs and the chemicals and all of that you're working on too. Just keep doing as much of that as you can, because it all plays into that total body burden. So yeah.
Yes, I've discovered, DIYs, cleaning products and things like that actually help save money. And yeah, it's really neat. It's really neat, all the things out there and all the things that you can make at home too, as far as food wise, that are
Right.
so much cheaper and better for you as well.
Great. Well, I'm very excited to have talked to you about this. If anybody watching this, okay, clearly anyone that sees this video, it is the replay because the live didn't work. But if anybody has questions about Sarah's journey or about your own symptoms, if you're having anything going on that's similar to Sarah's or whatever it may be, you can always reach out. But yeah, this is great. So definitely keep going. I will say one thing. People, as you start feeling really good, like you mentioned, now you can clean the house and do all these things. Just don't do too much, because sometimes, remember that threshold bucket. I think I did a video on that somewhere, but sometimes if you start feeling great, then people start cleaning the house or doing these huge projects, they haven't been able to do for years. And then all of a sudden their symptoms start coming back a little bit. And it's just because you've done too much too soon, just because you are feeling so good. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, I did have that problem when I first got on the program. Like within a couple of weeks, I had I was out walking. I was out walking and I wanted to walk. It's like a half a mile to our stop sign and back, because I live out in the country. And so
Okay.
beautiful day, and I was out there walking and just I'm like, okay, this is going to help me. This is going to help me. Maybe I'll lose, a little bit more weight. I'm going to start getting, a lot of steps in and all this stuff. And my heart rate was up there. I was monitoring my blood pressure daily at that point, just because it was having so much trouble, and my pulse and things like that. And it was really high. And my husband, without me knowing about it, had actually called Dr. Duquette because he was worried about me. And he said, "My wife's heart," he said, "What is she doing?" And he told her, he said, "She's doing too much. She needs to back off." And I had purchased a rebounder to help me. And he said, "Never do the rebounder for a couple of minutes, but tell her don't do all that walking, and keep checking, her pulse and things like that. Just relax and, do your breathing, and just do the minimum right now. We're in a process of healing." And so I did, and that actually did make a difference.
That's awesome. And then as you move farther along, so like where you are now, you can probably do that, no problem. But you just weren't ready at that point.
Yes.
I did think of something just now while you were talking. So when you had COVID, and it sounds like it was bad and you went into the hospital, did your symptoms, once you got out, did your symptoms get worse afterwards? Or did you experience that?
Yes, they did. And actually, I had asked Dr. Duquette about the COVID thing because I said, do you think that COVID caused a lot of these things? And he said, actually, he said, no. He said, you got the COVID as bad as you did because you were dealing with these issues at that time.
Right, because your immune system was
Exactly. Your immune system was working on something else, an
right.
underlying condition, instead of dealing with the virus. Because other people around me, were able, it was a really bad strain at the time, but a lot of other people were able to get over it. And it just really took me down hard.
Right. And I mentioned it because there are a lot of people that, we worked with a lot of people that had it and had a lot of symptoms afterwards, got worse, and you hear about that a lot. So that's just another, it just shows you that, again, no matter what, if you do all the right things, you overcome symptoms, whatever is causing them, whatever is adding to that threshold bucket where you're starting to overflow and your symptoms are, you're experiencing symptoms. So I just wanted to add that in case there's anyone that watches this that, maybe has experienced that as well.
Yes. I think, well, definitely, I thought that my lack of energy was due probably to that. So, I thought maybe that might have been due from the COVID and things like that.
Right. There's just one more thing coming in. But yes, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have anything else to add?
Not, not really. I'm just kind of looking forward to the future, with all this, and just really thankful for the program. It's definitely worked for me. I was just thankful that I was able to do it, and I'm just your average person. I really hope that other people can get help, and it's just something that really works, and I just hope other people can get help as well, like I did.
Yeah. Well, tell as many people as you can. Because it does. I mean, there's definitely hope out there. Everyone can turn whatever they're experiencing around for sure. Well, maybe you'll come on again in like a year and we'll see where you are at that point, see how you're doing.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Or I just called you Nicole. Sarah. Remind me of Nicole that I know. Okay. Well, you have a good night and thank you again for doing the interview.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Bye.
Bye.